Hello, Jay Jinender.
Jai Jinendra.
How are you? Still fine.
जय जिनेन्द्र रमेश भाई।
हाँ, जय योगेश भाई कैसे हैं? कैसे हैं?
हाँ,
Okay, if you want to start, we can start, okay? Because I will turn on the recording.
still 1 minute.
Okay. We have okay. Let me share. Are we able to see the presentation?
Yes.
Good. Shall we get started?
Yes, we can start.
Yes. Hi. Good evening. Happy Friday. I know different parts of the country are going through this weather bomb. Big changes all around the U.S. weather system, probably elsewhere also. So what we are going to talk about is yoga practices for hypertension. I believe you have already had pretty good detailed explanation of what the disease is and how it affects and the research supported by research. My focus would be more into the posture. Perhaps I'd like to cover some basic ground as well, just for the benefit of so that we're all on the same page. Again, our gratitude to Acharya Mahapragya Ji for uh, bringing both these together, the wisdom knowledge of yoga and meditation, along with the uh, supported by the modern science. Uh, so, our gratitude to him for having the vision and leading us in the right path. Again, the disclaimer: don't do anything that is causes injury. It's for you and it's for people whom you work with. So it's better to let them know this is not a competition. So, what is hypertension? We hypertension and BP are synonymous, right? If you consider your body, the circulatory system like a plumbing in a house, the pipes are we have the pipes and we have the pump. The plumbing, what do you need? You need the pipes and pump that will pump the water in a house. In our body, something similar, right? Pipes are the arteries, right? Where the blood gets pumped. And what is the pump here? Is the heart. And if the pressure is too high, then the situation develops, which is we call high BP, and it's measured with two numbers. Systolic is the top number, and the diastolic. Systolic is when the heart beats, and diastolic is when the heart rests. And what is considered as a high BP, at least in the US, is the force of blood on the artery wall. And systolic, if it's 130 or higher, when the heart contracts, then its blood pressure is high. It counts as a high blood pressure. Or the diastolic is more than high 80 when the heart rests. These are the conditions which is classified as a high BP. Let's look at the severity of this. What happens? Why this happens? The pipes become narrow, and how do the pipes become narrow? Our Asian heritage, one of the gifts is that we all have narrow arteries, right? But on top of it, our food habits, our genes also don't help. If you look at the normal blood flow in a pipe, there's no problem. There's no buildup inside the pipe. There's no buildup inside the artery, and everything is fine. The blood can move smoothly. But due to all these different things that I mentioned, the plaque, the it starts building up on the interior walls of our arteries, and it narrows the arteries down so that now the blood is less. There is less volume, less area for the blood to go through, so that creates a higher pressure. So plaque is a huge contributor. It's called the silent killer. Um, High BP, hypertension is called a silent killer because it has no symptoms. But however, internally, the organs are under significant stress. And what it could lead to, if it's not managed for a long time, stroke or heart attack, because the arteries have become hardened or blocked, the kidney damage, because the kidneys cannot filter the waste properly, vision loss, because because the pressure is so high, damage the tiny vessels in the eyes. And what are the contributors, as I mentioned? Of course, it's one part is you could say genetics, but there's a lot of lifestyle factors, such as high salt intake. So what happens? Sodium causes the blood, the fluid to retain, the body to retain fluid, increasing the volume of the pressure, right? It's not passing through system, it stays in the system for a long time. Stress keep the body in constant state of alert. Heart is continues to work hard, continues to pump, creating stress. Inactivity, of course, sedentary lifestyle. We all have that when we are tied to our desks. And of course, the age. The arteries lose their elasticity over a period of time. If you look at this is a global challenge, global illness, like we have done with diabetes or COPD, asthma. This is another of those mega diseases where it doesn't discriminate. There are about almost, I would say, 18% of the world population, right? Which means the number of adults percentage was much higher. 1.4 billion people suffer from this challenge, and almost half of them are unaware that they have this condition until it's too late, until it results in either stroke, kidney challenges, heart attack, and out of the people that who are aware, which is like about 54%, only half of them are even diagnosed and treated. Think about it, hardly 26% of the people of 1.4 billion, uh, and then were treated. Then you have about 20%, one in five is have their blood pressure under control. Look at the diagnostic. This is just amazing worldwide challenge, right? And you probably are familiar with these numbers. I just want to put it in perspective for what is happening. Look at the US numbers, right? About 120 million American adults. That is nearly 1 in 2 adults in the US have prevails, the high BP prevails in that percentage of population. Only about 22% have the BP under control, which means that they are aware of it, they are taking action, lifestyle changes, medication, therapy, right? And it's got significant cost. One is the death, of course. It invites the death earlier because you could have a stroke, could have a heart failure, and if you don't get proper treatment, proper guidance at the right time, it could result in death. But then there is a economical cost north of $50 billion, that's the estimate. So it's a mega problem, and it doesn't discriminate. Man, women, black, white, Asian, Hispanic. You look at this. It's predominant across all the population. I think what would be interesting is to see why Hispanics have lower uh, prevalence of this disease. Must be their activity. They are a lot more active physically, a lot of physical labor. But I don't know. The research is, that's not the focus. But it will be something interesting for the research to look at it. Why this is the case? Still, it's high. 40% is still high. And we can use the yoga Actually, I was thinking, why we call yoga. It's actually yog. Hindi word is yog, Sanskrit word is yog. And asana, it's not asana, it's asan. But when you convert it, when you anglicize it, it's all, the A gets spelled, even though it shouldn't be. But anyway, uh, the yogasanas doing certain postures backed by science help in managing this ailment, such as restorative poses and deep breathing, trying to activate uh, the parasympathetic nervous system, right? Lowering the heart rate, the blood pressure when you are relaxed. So some of the um categories that calm the nervous system, improve circulation without a huge spike in blood BP is restorative poses, supportive, held with relaxed effort. So do poses which are more restful, gentle forward bend, seated and lying poses with the spine uh, horizontal if you're lying down, seated, and simple twist with and hip openers with slow breathing, and supportive poses with props, right? Blocks, bolsters, chairs, belt, and anything that could help and get you ease into the pose. And don't hesitate to interrupt me if there's anything particular. I'm just giving you the basic, laying out the groundwork, uh, and what the category of postures that we would focus on to manage this this particular ailment. Uh, Look at this, right? All these postures you probably are familiar with, right? Uh, Tadasana, it looks so simple, uh, but you're saying how does it help? We want to basically open the chest area. Relaxation is the key. Opening the chest area so that you can breathe, breathing slower, deeper, bringing the heart rate down, thereby bringing the BP under control, right? And that's the category of different postures. Tadasana, and of course the bridge pose. Uh, the bridge pose opens the chest and regulates the blood flow to the heart, right? And you'll see that theme in many of the ailments we talked about. And asthma is to open our chest area so we can take a lot more prana, a lot more oxygen, and slow down the breathing. Um, of course, the seated forward bend, Paschima Uttanasana, where it calms the nervous system because you're bending forward, the heart is lower, uh, so that it doesn't have to work that hard to pump to the extremities and other parts of the body. Plank pose, I'm not sure whether we do plank in a sun salutation, right? And it strengthens the core muscles and improves the circulation. Um, of course, cat cow is a gentle stretch for the back, for the stomach area, for basically whole torso. You're trying to uh, stretch for increased blood flow. And Balasana, this is the panacea for a lot of any ailment you take in Balasana, child pose will be there. And then the legs up the wall, viparit karni, right? To drain all the acid accumulated in the body, lymphatic drainage when you have legs up the wall, then it helps in emptying that and reducing the heart's workload because its gravity is helping heart is at the lower on the ground. It doesn't have to work that hard. And of course, butterfly pose, release the tension in the hips, as well increases the stimulates the circulation flexibility as well. And the golden pose is the corpse pose, right? Ultimate relaxation, basically overcoming the fight or flight response. Yeah, and we'll go a little bit detail in each of the postures here. I know we are quite familiar, but I'd like to focus on see what we can do differently. But before we get to the posture here, some of the guidelines: head below the heart, which means no headstand, no shoulder stand, where or downward dog, because they can cause a sudden pressure spike in the head when the head is below the hump, right? Creating dizziness, creating more challenges. No breath retention, no kumbhak. It's already the heart is working harder, and now with kumbhak, then it increases the further pressure, internal pressure in the body. And when you're transitioning the pose, coming in, coming out, or lying down, do it do it in a very slow manner to avoid this sudden dizziness, or it's called a head rush. There's so much of blood into the head. And of course, use the props, right? We talked about that. The less your muscles struggle, the more your blood pressure drops, thereby activating the parasympathetic nervous system, right? And you're probably familiar with all these the ground that we try to cover. Any questions, any comments before we get into the actual postures and reviewing that? Okay. It's the focus is making it restorative. So here, look at the mountain pose. What are we doing? This is not a good angle, but keep in mind when you are trying to do this, of course, you're extending the whole body, stretching the whole body. But more importantly, or equally important, is make sure don't collapse your chest, right? When you're seated, our tendency is to basically collapse the chest, right? Whether you're putting your hands on if you're working on the computer, your chest is kind of it's getting a little bit crushed. When you're seated on a chair or doing Tadasana, focus on the chest area, and you want to open up. And how do we open up? You go ahead and project, push your chest out, the clavicle out, and rotate your upper arm to outside, right? Rotate your upper arm and take the shoulders back. Now that automatically will open the chest. And you have to do this very, very consciously when you're seated, when you're doing a posture, when you're walking. So that way, reducing the constraint on the heart in terms of less area, harder it has to work. More open heart, automatically it has to work less, the BP will come down. So it's not the posture alone. I know mountain pose, no problem. But the thing is, which area we want to focus, how we want to focus, right? Is to Tadasana, we want to go ahead and push our shoulders back and open our clavicles and the chest and keep the back straight, whether you're seated on a chair, walking, or doing Tadasana. So in a day-to-day, be mindful, be aware, your posture will get right, your breathing will get deeper, and whether you have BP or not, this can't hurt, right? Getting this practice subconsciously and make it so often so it becomes a second nature. When you're walking, you're not like walking like this, or either you're close to shoulder or collapsing where your upper body chest is getting constricted, right? I mean, while you're seated, I know you probably might have had lunch, but this is something we all can try. Uh, just consciously, just see how you're seated, and see if you can just adjust your pose to make sure both the legs are rested on the ground, the back is straight, neck is straight, hands up by the side, and then push your um, shoulder blades together, and upper arms are turning out, and then you'll see a huge difference. The chest is opened up. You will take a lot more intake of oxygen. Breath would be longer and deeper, right? Any question? It's simple pose, but minute things if you pay attention, it'll be a lot more beneficial in the pose. Especially most of us have worked with computers in one form or the other. Some have full time, some have partial. But when you sit on a chair, you always have the tendency you get humped, and where chest is getting a bit constrained. Okay. Any comments after you've tried? Is your breathing becoming different? Do you feel a difference that, hey, I used to breathe maybe 15 a minute, now I'm breathing 12, maybe 10 a minute, right? Number of inhalation and exhalation. Good. So that is the Tadasana. Bridge pose, right? What are we trying to do? Of course, this is good for back, good for strengthening the core. But here, the focus is to open the chest area. So I'm showing the example of bridge, but you can also include fish, right? Where you're opening the chest so you can breathe a lot more volume. When we hardly use less than 10% of lung capacity when you breathe, right? Some of the sports people who are trained for deep, let's say deep diving, they can retain the breath for more than 3 minutes. They have the same human body as us, but they have learned the technique of how to breathe when they are out of the water, out of the water, where they can take a lot more prana, a lot more oxygen, which can sustain them longer when they are going to deep dive. Right? They go without any equipment when they go deep diving without equipment. So here the focus is in opening the chest and breathe. So now, what is the one thing we said? That we want to use props. So definitely let me go back. Here the props would be what? You could sit on the chair and stretch. Make sure when you're stretching, your arms are also under, they're not, you're not tightening your shoulders. Relax shoulders as well, and then opening up. So sit on the chair in this case. You could do this lying down as well, right? Stretch, so inhaling, expanding, stretching, exhaling, relaxing. Here, so the props, what we can use here, you can use the block to support your lower back. Right? Yeah, the blocks would do the job here. Paschimottanasana, seated forward bend. Here, the key is if your torso, upper body is parallel to the legs, that's the classical, eventual we want to get there. And the idea is that we want the heart doesn't have to work that hard. And also, which means that this is very relaxing pose. It's not working that hard, very relaxing pose. Your parasympathetic nervous system kicks in. So what do we do here? This could be, it's a seated pose. You could use the strap outside your legs and pull yourself forward towards the ground. All the while, be very mindful of the upper body. You want to make sure upper body is opened up. Yeah, I see a hand. Rakesh bhai. Yeah, go ahead. What question do you have? Unmute yourself, please. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Oh, can you're having difficulty? Are able to not hear? Uh, let's see. Folks are not able to hear me.
We can hear you. It's not an
Yes, we can
issue.
hear you. Yeah.
But he's saying something, and I don't understand what what
Okay,
Rakesh bhai is saying.
now I could not unmute myself earlier. It
Oh,
was the
sorry. Go ahead.
host had control. My question is general question about bending. So when we bend, like in this pose, Paschimottanasana, which area, and if we cannot bend completely, like make our torso parallel to the legs, which group of muscles is preventing us to do that? Is it the hamstring? If you cannot, I don't think you can see my pointer, but is it the muscles underneath the knees, or is it the back muscles?
I think it's everything.
I see.
The back muscle in predominantly because your torso is not, my torso doesn't come down to the ground that easily. But over a period of time, gravity will pull you down, even a millimeter at a time. So those muscles have not stretched properly. So this is fantastic, you will get there. And to open the hip, we have another posture coming up, the butterfly, slowly opening the hip. Butterfly can be done seated or lying down, where your wings are open, your hips are opening up. So it's combination of both. But here the focus is I don't want to, when I'm going down, I don't want to collapse my chest. I want the chest to be open. So not only heart is coming lower, but also do a deeper breathing. So every posture, I mean, some of these postures are so common, right? We've seen this across various ailments, but the focus is different for each ailment. What that posture, why are we doing it, and what area to focus on? If you're trying to balance when you're doing Tadasana, then you want to make sure you firm up your quads and legs. But you want to make sure upper body is also open, that they're not collapsing. Don't bring it so close where the upper body is collapsing, where clavicle is getting constricted, the chest is getting constricted. So you already know the postures, you have the foundation, but now make sure when I apply for particular ailment, particular disease, what should be the focus, right? Good question, yeah. Anything else? So you can use a rope. You could use a block. How would I use a block? We can practice that in a Saturday session. A block is if your upper body is very flexible and your hands are already reaching the toes. How do I still get the stretch? You put a block outside your or your heel, right? I can demonstrate that. Just 1 second. I have the block and I have the belt. So let's try to do both. So here, I stretch my hands, open the chest up, right? And rotating outside. And then my hands are stitched to my ears and I come down from the lower back without bending the leg. If that's all I can do, that's fine. Let's bring my hands down. Now, if I'm having difficulty, I could use the belt and pull myself further down. And you say, hey, I'm super flexible. I can put a block outside and pull myself. giving you extra couple of inches more because your fingers are outside the block. You're holding it outside the block. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So the postures are similar as, you learn it, but doing it properly, that's the key. And for that particular way. Plank, Palakasana, plank. What are we trying to do here? This is the core strength so that circulation can be much more efficient. When the strength is there, you can push more prana, more oxygen. We have done this. We have talked about it. Where if you're having a difficulty, you can modify it. You can either put your knees down, for example, if you don't feel strong enough, the torso is not strong enough to get the weight. And again, the same principle applies here. Where you want to rotate outside when you're trying to go down, you could have lower arms on the ground. You could be on your palm. The idea is the weight has to be distributed. Weight is not on all on the shoulders. It has to be distributed to your legs also, so they can hold the. I mean, you wonder how people can stay in this pose for a long time, 1, 2, 3 minutes. It's because they have the technique of distributing the weight. They understood where the weight has to be distributed, right? Core has to be engaged. Your quad muscles have to be very tight so that it can take the weight, so that everything is not coming just on the torso or the shoulders. Make sense? You can then stay 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. Once you have the right technique, you can, without saying that I can't do it, you say, okay, I can push myself because the technique is correct. Marjariasana, cat cow pose. Here we are intentionally opening up when you're looking up, intentionally opening up your chest. Your back is curved down and inhaling prana. Exhaling, your back is curved up and you're looking down, right? It creates this counter movement, concave and convex, creating more flexibility, stretching it, also relaxing the muscles. And you could do a triyag. You can look towards the right side or left side in a neutral position. You know what I mean? So if I do a cat cow, the classical cat cow, make sure the palms are under the shoulders and head is neutral, right? This is starting. And down, inhaling, looking up, exhaling, looking down. But then there's so many things you got to be careful about, right? You have to make sure the palms are, that the fingers are stretched and the upper arms are pushing out so that your chest is not, if you do this, your chest is going to collapse. And then when it's parallel, then I can go ahead and look to the right, to the left in a neutral position. And I can also looking down, pushing up, pushing my back up, looking up and pushing my back down, right? Uh, so these are minute things that you notice as you practice. And say, I need to focus on this area or particular area to get the proper benefit. Child pose. We have talked about this in so many different ailments. You have to make sure you're seated on your heel. Uh, if that's a challenge, you can put a pillow uh, under the on the heels. You could, if your forehead is not touching the ground, spread the legs a little bit apart. Create a fist on both the hands, uh, or create again a pillow. Uh, I mean, use the pillow to rest your forehead. Yeah, and you can stay. You can hands by the side or hands stretched forward. It becomes a different pose, but I see the benefit for this particular purpose. If you have hands in the front stretched, you probably, I feel, will be able to bring your hips on your heels much easier, you know. And feel free to try it out. Right? So I spread my knees. I'm going to remove my glasses. So this is my hands by the side. I still have gap, maybe a couple of millimeters. But if I go ahead and stretch my hands in the front, then I can use the support of my lower arm to push my back, my lower back to the heels. You see? And once I'm there, I can take one hand, other hand, I'm still seated on my heels. Give it a try. If you're already flexible, then there is no problem. But if you're saying that I can't sit on my heels, start with Vajrasan, spread the legs a little bit, come down, hands by the side, palms facing up. That's my bottom, not touch the heel. Then you stretch your hands forward and use your lower arms to push your lower back lower to the ground. Then you can bring the hands closer to the body. Right? These are all things, nuances that when you practice, you'll see, yes, this is where it could help me. Any questions? These are simple poses, but they have intricate movements physiologically, what happens inside anatomy wise. Another classic, right? Vipreet Karni, support of the wall. It takes about 2 minutes for the blood from the extremities, from the feet, to come back to the heart, get reoxygenated, and go back to the extremities. So this pose, you may start with
This
15
is
seconds. The
Sarvangasana.
goal is
This is Sarvangasana, isn't it?
Sarvangasana is different. If you look at the back, your torso is at 45 degrees. You're not squeezing you're constricting your throat, because Sarvangasana definitely is a no-no.
Right.
But here you're doing it, it's kind of an inclined plane supported on the wall. I'm showing it without the wall. So you're not creating so much stress on the heart, first of all. And second, you don't want the rush of blood. So it's it's not like a candlestick. It's not a candle pose. It's a more gentle, because this is more of a parasympathetic nervous system. We want to kick it in. We want that to kick in. So there is no neck lock, chin lock. So breathing can continue, and you're supported in the wall. You're supporting your hips, and allowing for the extremities. The heart is where the gravity brings the blood back to the heart. Heart doesn't have to work that hard. Whole body doesn't have to work that hard. The arteries uh, also where it's getting a break. Gravity is helping you to bring the blood back to the heart to get reoxygenated. So here, Rakesh, this is the hip opening, right? Uh, Very classical pose, but not used to sitting on the ground, right? More and more of us here in the West, particularly, also is happening elsewhere. People sit on the chair, so your hips never get a chance to open up. So what do we do? If the knees are not touching the ground, you use the blocks so that you can stay in this pose longer. The blocks has no, you can use the medium setting or low setting. So they are rested, they are supported. You can be in this posture for longer. Then slowly remove the blocks. If you're in if you're in the medium, come to the low setting. If you're in the low setting, remove the block slowly, and then you will see that okay, I'm coming closer. My knees are coming closer to the ground. Don't give up. It takes a while because we have not exercised, not used those muscles. Uh, One of the variation in this, use the elbow to push your knees down. Right? You probably have done this. So the heels are touching. Now my knees are not touching the ground. So what do? I grab hold of my legs, let's say near the ankle, and then I try to use my elbows to push the knees down, keeping the back straight. And then I can come closer and closer. And then I can do titili, like butterfly, a gentle flap. Don't make it too fast. Then your body is again getting the fight or flight system activated. But we are trying to. This is a relaxing pose, opening the hip pose. So you're just gently opening the hip, and in fact using the back muscles to push the knees down. Every posture that you do is going to help you. If you're doing bridge, and then after the bridge, you do this, your back muscles are stronger. It can help you in pushing your knees to the ground. Right? Think about it. So the order of poses is also important. Not only from a chakra perspective. You start from Sahasra chakra to all the way, uh, but also parts of the body, if they are already stretched, then you go to the next pose, it's going to help you. Especially when somebody's getting introduced to yoga, Titili Asana. Aha, Savasana, Kayotser. Uh, what can you do? Some folks have difficulty lying down on the ground, right? Obesity is such another epidemic globally, right? With all the processed food. For them, it's hard. I've come across people, they can't lie down because if they lie on the floor, they can't get up. So what do? Then you have the chair. Do savasana on the chair. We tried that in like an inclined plane, like sitting in a plane, right? Supporting your back, put a big cushion, a bolster. Um, if there's a back problem, you pull, you put bolster under your knees, so your lower back is also touching the ground. All parts of your body must be touching the ground. If you're using the bolster, yes, the back of the knee is touching the bolster, but then it's also relaxing the back. So the back is also touching the whole back, middle, and upper back is all touching the ground. So once your posture is like that, you establish contact with earth, the full body, the relaxation it is going to happen automatically with the auto suggestion. Your breath is also going to be slow down. Any questions so far? I think this was my last slide from the posture. It's a sample of postures. If you get the idea that we want to open our chest, We want to reduce the breath, we want to do deeper breathing, then let me select postures which will help with that. We said we can use bridge, we can supplement that with fish opening up the chest, for example. Uh, let's say hip opening. Um, can you name one posture which will help in opening the hip? Anyone, right? We have done this. We have done. Uh, pigeon will be very helpful in this. And how is pigeon going to be helpful in opening the hip? If you look at the what pigeon is trying to do, I come into the inverted V, right? Lift my right leg up, bend it, and now my left thigh is as close to the ground as possible. I'm supporting my right hip with the bolster, and now my left leg is so close it has to be in the straight line, supporting and then I come down. I'm resting my right side, right tush is resting on the block. You may say, I don't need it. You can remove that. You may say, I need a block in the front to rest my forehead, right? The blocks are such a good help in modifying the pose. See, this is when I'm sitting straight, I can't. My tush is not touching the ground because my hips are not that flexible. But I put a block, I can stay in this pose for quite for longer time, right? This hip opening. So you're doing a pose. If it's focusing on a particular area, okay, think about it because I'm working with someone, patient, who may have difficulty, or you may say it's boring. I want to do one more pose or different pose, but with the same intent. If it's a hip opening, then we look for poses that are related to hip opening. Relaxing here, we can do the child pose. Um, in this case, child pose is another one. And again, we talked about technique where your bottom is touching the heel, and how do you practice that so that eventually you're so relaxed, your back is so stretched, your body is so relaxed that uh, the bottom is touching the heel, and you're getting good stretch. Marjariasan. So this one you can say, hey, modified cobra could help me to open up, make the upper body stronger, right? I'm giving you ideas to say, okay, hey, I'm working with someone and they want variety or they have some limitation. I can use the props, but even with that, if there's a limitation, let me substitute with a different pose. I'm not saying that's what you should start with, but keep that in mind why I'm sharing different poses, right? And if you look when you're doing the faces down, then it could be inverted V. Downward facing dog is an alternative for this because your hips have to be up. Here, what can I do for the building the strength? A lot of poses with the strength, right? Strength and balance. You could do crow pose, but again, you want to make sure you're not straining the heart that much. Crow pose is very demanding. Think of some poses that you say, for every of this pose that I've listed, can you come up with at least one or two additional poses that, hey, I feel will be beneficial? I'm not suggesting you do that. I'm just suggesting think about it so that when you're working with people, you're thought through and you're saying, okay, I can substitute. Forward bend, as well. See, forward bend, this is interesting. Forward bend and Vipreet Karni are in a way similar, right? It's just that you transpose, you change you look at the body, right? Here the legs are flat and your torso is coming at an angle, right? If it's not flat, but it's going to be at an angle, right? 30 degrees or something, or 45 degrees. And then if you go ahead and say Viparit Karni, my torso is, my legs are straight and torso is 45 degrees. So think about it, okay? I can, uh, angle-wise, I changes the similar posture, right? Look at it from that perspective. Uh, this is the bridge, fantastic for back issues, where what could be an alternative pose for that? What could be an alternative pose? Wheel, which is a lot more intense. Any ideas? Help me, guys. Let's make it interactive, fun. What other postures? You know, so many postures, right? You may say, hey, for bridge, I can do wheel. What else can I do? I can do plank, right? You know plank, right? You plank, what are we doing? We are pushing our hips up and opening our chest and looking at the ceiling. Yes, your weight is uh, on the arms, on the elbow, hands, but your legs are also helping. Okay, can I go ahead and do a tabletop? A little bit easier. Hips in the air, right? So variations for different poses. When they're doing research, obviously you have to select certain poses. But if you get the idea behind it, then you can say, okay, maybe this pose I can give it a try. What are we doing? Tadasana. Such a simple pose, but so many things are involved here. And you can stay in this for a couple of minutes. If your focus is appropriate, where the legs are very powerful, your quad muscles are strong, powerful, your hips are aligned, your chest is opened up. If the posture is perfect, there is no need to say I'm getting out of breath, I'm losing balance. No, you will maintain the balance. You will be continuing breathing. You're opening the chest up. You're taking a lot more prana, a lot more oxygen. You can stay in this pose for much longer than few seconds that we try. Okay. Visualize to realize. You may not be there today, but keep that in mind. Yes, I can do this for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, 1 minute. Visualize to realize. Then you will say, okay, what are the muscles, what areas of the body I need to engage to get involved so that this posture can be done very well. Again, just as a safety guideline, I want to reiterate, avoid your head below the heart, don't hold your breath, move slowly, use props. Any questions, comments?
Hi, Ramesh bhai, just quick. Is there any like a sort of group you made it up to follow the yoga body
Group,
postures?
repeat
Like
again, I
hip
don't
for the
understand the
hip
question.
group?
Yeah. Have I done that? No, I have not done that. What we have done is more on the ailment specific for this has been the focus. But you could say, hey, I want to focus on hips. Uh, you could create a set of postures for that. Yes. I can share that. Let me look it up something for you. If the hips is what you're looking to focus on, I
Hip
can
or
look it up.
leg or knees or
Yeah, yeah. I don't have it, but I can look it up definitely. Hip is such a thing because it's such a common, pervasive issue because we don't sit on the floor long enough, or we don't sit on the floor, period. So the hip opening is going to be good. Let me see if I can find some
because
posture
hip is mostly
suggested.
center of all the exercise when you
Ah,
do asana or anything. And
yeah, yeah. The walking as well. Yeah,
yeah.
good. Any other comment, question, thought? I want to make this as a fun experience. I know you're taking your Friday evening. You should be out with your family and friends, but you are here. So that's congratulations to you on your dedication to spend week after week after week with us on Fridays and Saturdays, all
Oh,
weekdays for that matter.
Ravis, sorry to interrupt you. I got suggestions like you watch what we can do and you can try to correct our positions or how we do asanas or mudra
Yeah,
body exercise
that's a good
poses.
comment. Unfortunately, I mean, fortunately, I think you have in-person classes in Orlando because
Okay.
to correct it remotely is a challenge, right?
Okay.
That's why I think some Nijis have put the schedule at least once a month. They
Mhm.
have in-person class.
Okay.
Somebody had their hands up. I don't know if they're still there or any question on that. Don't, I mean, again, we are all here are learning, trying to learn. So unmute yourself if you have a specific question. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
had a I had a quick question. I was wondering, I know on like the safety guidelines page it mentioned to not do poses where the head is below the heart. So then is the one inversion pose, is that still okay for a limited amount of time for someone who has hypertension, or should that one be avoided, or is that one okay for with an exception?
I would say one is okay
Okay.
because why, right? It's called legs up the wall. So your back is supported. Your body doesn't have to work that hard, right? Your legs are supported on the wall. So that's less stress for your hands, your whole body. Then in extremities, the blood circulation using the gravity to bring it down, bring the blood. When you say inversion, no headstand or no candle pose, no shoulder stand, because then everything is coming to the heart. The rush of blood is coming so hard. But here our back is 45 degrees. So I think it's okay, but again, you'd have to see if the person is comfortable, how bad is the situation. Then you may say I probably avoid that until they're better. Uh, but you have substitute, right? You can do child pose if you're trying to relax the heart and kick in the parasympathetic. You can do child pose. You could substitute with other poses.
Okay, thank you.
So, good question. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
All right, quick question. Samniji yesterday said an asana that I don't know if it has a different name, Hridaya Stambhasan. You familiar with that?
Yeah. I it's been a while, but is it where you lean on one side? Your torso is one side of the body, is it?
I don't know. Samniji mentioned that yesterday. And then she also said Yog Mudra and Pavan Muktasan.
This could be one. I got to check up, but I think this must be the
Oh, Hridaya
asana that you're
Stambhasan.
talking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But let me check that and I respond to you. In terms of yoga mudra and what was the other one you were talking
Pavan
about?
Muktasan. Pavan
Pavan Mukta is
Muktasan.
wind relieving, which we are familiar with. The
Oh,
mudras, I think Samniji probably can help me out. But Pavan Muktasan, you can just bend the leg and bring it close to your chest. So you're squeezing your stomach, your abdominal area for Pavan Muktasan. You don't want to release the air, release the gas, right? Pavan
okay.
Muktasan. Okay, what is the alternative, right? Now think about it. I'm trying to do this, pushing the air out. What else can I do? Can I use the gravity? Okay, I can sit in Vajrasana, right? That's also good. After food, it's recommended you sit in Vajrasana for a few minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, where the pressure is pushing the food down, right? So have that question, the curiosity that what are the poses I can deploy, I can use if I'm having difficulty. I don't want to do Viprit Karni, or I don't want to have the person do Viprit Karni. What can I substitute with? Because you have your ideas clear. I want to open the chest. I want to get the parasympathetic nervous system kicked in. What can I do? Substitute it. There are thousands of yoga postures. Some of them, I mean, we may not even have heard of.
Yeah.
Good. I think my time is up. If you have any question, let me know. Otherwise, look forward to seeing you in the morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Good
Ramesh
night.
bhai.
Jai
Thank
Jinendra.
you.
Jai-
Jai
Thank
Jinendra.
you.
Jai Jinendra.
Take care.
Thanks for presentation.
Take care. Bye.
Thanks.
So now this is the time for meditation. Anybody wants to? Meditation? Okay, so I have got the mudra, what is the Hridaya Sambhasana. So when we have to sit in the Vajrasana first, and then we have to lie down on and keep our head on the ground, but the wrist part should be a little bit up, and both the hands should be on the thigh. Okay, so this is the Hridaya Sambhasana. So here chest is a little bit up from the ground. So that helps to strengthen the heart muscles. Is it clear? I'm sharing the photo first and then you will see. This is the Hridaya Stambhasana. This is the upper one. Is it clear? The posture? Sheetal? Hello?
Yes, Vandami. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so this is the Hridaya Stambhasana.
Okay.
Yoga Mudra and Viprit Karani. So might be you know that, but I will share that one also because I got today. Yes. Is it visible to you?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the yoga mudra you are perceiving here. Just to sit in a lotus posture if it is possible, or in the what we say comfortable posture, and take both the hands behind, back side, lock both the fingers or both the hands, and sit. What we say, bow down towards the ground. So that is called yoga mudra, and this is the Viprit Karan, in which you have to raise both the legs up in 90 degree, and try to raise it up from the ground with the support of your hands. So this is called Viprit Karni Mudra. So they both are considered good for the. Now it is clear?
Yes, Vandami. Yes.
Okay. So now we will do meditation. So sit in comfortable posture. Keeping the neck and backbone straight. Close your eyes softly. Keep both the hands in the posture of knowledge. With 5 Om sounds, we will start our meditation. Take a long and deep breath and let the sound. Om. 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 Relax. Relax your entire body, mind, and vocal cords. To start meditation, make the resolution. I am practicing Praksha meditation for the purification of my psyche. I am practicing Praksha meditation for the purification of my psyche. I am practicing Praksha meditation for the purification of my psyche. The first stage of meditation is relaxation. Concentrate your mind on the big toe of your right foot. Allow your mind to spread throughout the toe. Suggest to the muscles and nerves to relax. Experience the resulting relaxation and pass on to the other parts of the right foot, the other toes. See each one, sole, heel, ankle, upper part of the foot, calf muscle, knee, thigh, and buttocks. Give suggestion to the muscles and nerves of each of the parts to relax. Relax. Experience the resulting relaxation. Now concentrate on the big toe of the left foot. Allow your mind to speak throughout the toe. Suggest to the muscles and nerves to relax. Experience the resulting relaxation and pass on to the other parts of the left leg, toes, sole, heel, ankle, upper part of the foot, calf muscle, knee, thigh, and buttocks. Experience each and every part of the left foot is getting relaxed. Next, relax the trunk from hip joint to the neck, starting with the back and front of the lower abdomen and the upper abdomen, going up to the rib fronts and back, the chest muscles, collarbone up to the neck muscles. Give suggestion to relax. Feel complete relaxation. In the whole part. Now relax both the hands from palms to the shoulders. See each and every part of the right hand and left hand. Give suggestion to be relaxed. Relax. Feel complete relaxation in the lower and the middle part of your body. Finally, relax the head from neck to skull. Concentrate your mind on throat, chin, jaws, lips, mouth, cheeks, and all the other facial muscles, nose, ears, eyes, temples, forehead, and skull. Experience that the whole body is completely relaxing. Now experience that the whole body is completely relaxed. Retain the relaxed condition throughout the meditation session. Simultaneously experience keen awareness of your own self distinctly apart from the body and maintain the awareness. The second step of meditation is perception of breathing. Direct full attention to your breathing, excluding all thoughts and sensations. Regulate your breathing, make it slow, deep, and rhythmic. Focus your consciousness on the navel and become fully aware of the contraction and expansion of the abdomen, accompanying exhalation and inhalation, respectively. Continue the perception of navel region for about few seconds and experience that the breath has been regulated to a slow rhythm. Continuing the slow, deep, and rhythmic breath, shift your attention from the navel and focus it inside the nostrils. at this junction where the two nostrils meet. Let the perception of breathing fill your entire mind. Be fully aware of each and every breath. Fix your consciousness totally on the process of respiration so that each and every inhalation and exhalation is perceived. Maintain the continuity of awareness throughout the session. Focus your consciousness totally on the process of respiration. With the slow, deep, and rhythmic breathing, and experience that your heart is becoming normal. The heartbeat is becoming normal. Your mind is calm and cool, free of all tensions. The function of heart has become completely normal. Visualize the ring mantra on the heart. The bright orange color is spreading in the chest area, and strengthening the heart muscles. Feeling completely healthy. Take 2 long breaths With 2 Om sounds, we will conclude our meditation. Om. Lift both hands, keep them on eyes, and open your eyes gently. Everybody has seen the mantra? Hmm?
Yes, I tried Samniji.
Yes.
I could see the color orange.
Yeah, orange. So some people use this rising sun light by imagination to remove some cyst in the body or some plague, even the cavity of the tooth or teeth, whatever is required. So anybody can use that light or sunlight sometimes to remove such kind of problems for our body. So thank you very much. Anybody has to say anything? So tomorrow is Saturday. That's it. So if somebody has any questions with Ramesh Parmar, I think he will be there for his yoga class. So some of the exercise I will share with him. So he will teach that, which I have mentioned, especially in my talk. So he will see that whether it is up to the mark or useful for the heart disease, then he can show.
Vandami Namasami.
Thank you.
Vandami Namaskar.
Vandami Namaskar.
Samniji.
Yes, yes.
Vande Vinam Samishra Maitri.